1:35 p.m. as you can see, Saturday, November 16th, 2024. The people of the state in West Covina, as you can see, these are demons. These are not normal human beings. None of this light activity is the product of driving underneath the sun. This is called engineered light. And this is the impunity that the people of the state of California, and this is prosecuting the demon calling himself a mayor of the city of West Covina, the demon calling himself a chief of police of the West Covina Police Department, the demon calling himself a fire chief over the fire department. This is exposing the entire government that is corrupt, that is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, which is a satanic targeting system where you get what you're witnessing in the video, driving by underneath what is supposedly the sun. And the evidence shows that this is not the natural environment. It's impossible that the sun, in other words, would be outside of the same location, visible through the windows of my car that's parked at the same position that you see above at 7:50 in the morning. I just want to be clear, what you see at 7:50 in the morning, that's the same location. This is where demons are group stalking. And this is where the corrupt government, which is West Covina, California, represents the state of California. That's engaging in the same exact pattern of conduct, and it's criminal, and it's terrorism in the United States. And this is speaking for the removal of what is the corrupt leaders that are sitting in positions that they are disqualified to maintain, not only because of the criminal activity that they engage in with the people of the state, the constituents of West Covina, the constituents of the state of California, in conformity to a pattern of conduct that I've been documenting for years now. And it is, in other words, beyond a coincidence that I am able to capture the specific environment, which is made up of many supernatural occurrences that are outside of my control. In other words, I'm not able to manufacture it, can't make it up, and I can't make any of that happen. It's not the product of sunlight, nor could the sun, the natural environment, maintain presence like I'm showing you at 7:50 in the morning at this same location. This is 2100 LARK Ellen, where demons are group stalking. These are not normal people. These are the demon possessed. And this is the criminal conduct that the demon possessed are engaging in. This is understanding what is surveillance while demons are targeting you with what is engineered light. The engineered light and presence in the path is that which a population, that's the state of California, are intentionally and knowingly and ceaselessly engaging in, participating in on behalf of the corrupt government that's engaged in criminal surveillance. The population is in the shoes of the state that is relying on that public corruption. That is everybody that lives around you. I've documented many of these addresses. They're documented as ongoing impunity because I've documented them on podcasts. And as you remain subject to it on a day-by-day basis, they're going to be prosecuted for terrorism in the U.S. And the terrorism in the U.S. in West Covina, California, like you just witnessed, that's occurring thousands and thousands of times. That's terrorism, and it's also accounted to each and every demon that lives in the city of West Covina that's in a position affecting the morale, the corrupt morale of the population in West Covina. Okay, so this is, for example, I want you to just recall what I captured at 7:50 in the morning. Department. It's 7:50 a.m. This is the fake sun that is in perfect alignment with me while I am at, I believe, LARK, Ellen Avenue, and Amar in West Covina, California. 1 second, let me keep it aligned up so you can see it. And this fake sun remains in the same position where the people of the state, as you see them driving by, they're monitoring. They're engaging in criminal activity in plain sight. In the city of West Covina, the demons in the positions of leadership, dangerous and corrupt leadership, they encourage this conduct. And why is this conduct occurring? Because they're seeking to murder and kidnap someone, and they openly engage in it. That's also notable to the ways in which demons will be removed from the positions where they pose a threat to the people of the state. And not only the people of the state, but you're talking about acting to murder any one of these demons and acting to murder a targeted individual like myself. Demons that are currently sitting in positions like Richard Bell, he has to be removed. Justice requires that result, and nothing less. The people of the state are engaging in this criminal conduct in concert with Richard Bell and the West Covina Police Department. And that's just identifying one corrupt actor in the city of West Covina that is group stalking with the population that tells on the entire city. This is telling on the entire state. All right. And this is, again, the crime scene where you're recognizing it. This is the same exact location, 2100 at 7:50 in the morning. Let's count together. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. This is 1:40 p.m. We're almost at 6 hours later, and this is where demons are maintaining surveillance, where the fake sun remains. Now, if you'll recall, that's called crossing a path by a sex offender who they also do the same thing wherever, and you know that because the fake sun remains over me where I go, including when I'm being gang stalked in the bathroom, like I documented under the fake sun yesterday, where there is no possible way where the light source would remain stationary here when I documented it remaining over me, for example, at the Pomona Starbucks in Pomona, California, which is not at 2100 Lark Ellen Avenue. There is never any circumstance where you're seeing this light activity that I'm capturing being the product of the sun being over your head. But again, it logically follows, and science dictates that the sun is not a stationary object that would remain seen outside of the window of a vehicle that's parked at the same address for a duration of time. The sun is a gaseous ball of fire, so we've been told, in constant movement. There is no sun that could possibly ever be on the East Coast. While it's remaining over me as I document it at one street. And this is what I'm documenting. This is prosecuting. So let's be clear who is being exposed while I'm documenting terrorism by the people of the state. These are violent sex offenders that are stalking in bathrooms. So you need to understand that the state of California is filled with sex offenders, and they're engaging in what is gang stalking. And doing something such as walking by the vehicle is accomplishing that pattern of conduct. They do the same thing while they drive by the vehicle. They do so in a specific environment, which is maintaining the crime scene for purposes of activity creation. Understand that this is demonic activity. Driving by, like you just saw, is never creating the light activity that you see. It's supernatural. It's as supernatural as the sun remaining stationary at one location from 7:50 a.m. until 1:42 p.m., which is the current time. That's not the natural environment. It's supernatural. As supernatural as the entity in creating any light activity inside of this car. The reason why it's happening, first of all, the demons do so with regard to knowledge about what I'm doing on my phone and what it is that I am doing personally. They do it to harass, they do it to terrorize, they do it to exhibit hostility, to communicate a threat to your life. That's an inherent threat, by the way, while the entity is gang stalking you through demonic means. And the state of California is going to be prosecuted for what is recognized under federal law, domestic terrorism. This is what a government engages in with the population in order to threaten your life in a manner that's not supposed to be suspected by any other person. You're supposed to be discarded by society, maliciously and unjustly written off as suffering from some mental incapacity, and this impossible light activity in this fake sun directly rebuts that, and it is going to place government actors in federal prison and in mental asylums as I'm documenting it, contrary to what the entity intends, and that's shared by the people of the state. All right, impossible light is moving across the brick wall while demons on the opposite side of the street are gang stalking. Gang stalking is accomplished by merely being in the environment and engaging in any activity creation, any noise, any presence, any movement. Living in the specific environment accomplishes the state's pattern of conduct. This is how you're understanding the entire state of California is a group stalker. They're doing so while they're maintaining dynamic activity all around me, in concert with the demons that live in the city, and in concert with the entity that you know is maintaining aerial surveillance. And who is doing that in West Covina, California? It points directly to the West Covina Police Department. It points directly to the West Covina in West Covina, California, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is maintaining what is jurisdiction over this corrupt actor that is gang stalking in West Covina, California, and doing so with the constituents of the state. And these demons are very obsessed. As you can see, they are so mentally deranged that they would engage in the ongoing attempt to murder and kidnap someone in plain sight. That's the evidence that I'm capturing. All right, because this is going toward the public entity's attempt to murder and kidnap someone. They failed in this sacrifice, and they are going to be prosecuted for it. And the prosecution of the state of California includes the demon-possessed, who are so, and this is speaking to the demise of the demon-possessed, those who serve Satan. They are so heavily deceived, they now continue to engage in the outward conduct of an attempt to murder and kidnap someone, and they're doing it in plain sight as I capture the fake sun, the crime scene, as I capture the impossible light activity, as I document the pattern of conduct. And I want you to recall, while I am remaining at the Ovid Family Community Library, as I am coming from the Ovid Family Community Library, I arrived at the Ovid Family Community Library yesterday at 11:29 in the morning, where it's clearly over me at the Ontario Town Square. And I just want to be clear, that is not, this right here, what you see at the Ontario Town Square in Ontario, California, is not outside of the window at Lark Ellen Avenue. And this is speaking to what's never going to be the cause of engineer light dynamic inside of a car or inside of a building. Is never going to create light that's stationary above your head. The sun is above outside of this vehicle in the same way that the sun is above outside of buildings. And this is understanding stationary engineered light while each and every demon is participating in the surveillance system. They are engaging in what is the creation of dynamic engineered light, and it's a supernatural occurrence because you need to understand that the demon possessed are very real. Satan is a spirit, and he's using the people of the state in West Covina, California, to engage in a satanic targeting system, which, by the way, the entity that is, again, being exposed, let's look at them by name, because this is simultaneously exposing the corrupt government actors, who I am documenting on a daily basis, engaging in surveillance in concert with the demons who fill the city of West Covina. They are doing so with regard to knowledge that it's being documented. That's relevant for malice and impunity. That is the determination with which the corrupt entity seeks to murder and kidnap someone. And this is while they are witnessing the fact that it's a failed sacrifice and that they will suffer federal penalties, and yet they continuously engage in group stalking. You are seeing the evidence of it by the engineer light appearing inside of my car, the maintenance of that which is not even the natural environment, and Mayor Brian Calderon Tabatabai, this is a demon who is very likely not a natural born citizen. You need to understand the implications with regard to engaging in domestic terrorism in any regard. Whether this demon, Brian, is driving by group stalking me right now, whether he lives over here off of Amar, gang stalking by living in relevant position, whether he is flying one of these helicopters and flying over my head in relevant position. Mayor Brian Calderon Tabatabai, which is not, he's not a legitimate, he is not a qualified government holder. It's dangerous and corrupt leadership that he is literally accountable for. This is why he will be removed. This is not mere dereliction of duty. You need to understand someone that esteems himself as a mayor is a part of the same exact corrupt community and is a gang stalker. And by virtue of the fact that gang stalking is happening in the city of someone who wants to esteem themselves as a mayor, Brian Calderon Tabatabai has met his demise in his career as a mayor in the city of West Covina. And I want to be clear, by virtue of that position, it is criminal facilitation. The mayor is very closely acquainted with the office of the West Covina Police Department, the chief over that police department, and knows exactly how much money and what they're doing with regard to helicopters and how these demons are engaging in surveillance, sitting on the corners in West Covina, maintaining relevant positioning, monitoring with these demons that are crossing path obsessively on LARK Ellen Avenue under a fake sun and under a fake moon at nightfall. These are demons, and that's what this is too. This is a demon. All right. And I want to be clear. There is no respecter of persons. Anyone that is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring by virtue of holding a government position and facilitating it in the city, in the state. This is a thorough, comprehensive prosecution. You will be subject to deportation. It is not going to change because somebody that's collecting food stamps is gang stalking me. It's from Mexico. And versus Mayor Brian Calderon, that's from some foreign country, has been granted the privilege to be here. And it does not, that privilege does not include sitting in a position of government to engage in group stalking, facilitate group stalking, enable group stalking, do nothing about this. You are necessarily aware of it and engaging in it. And dereliction of duty will qualify for group stalking. And you are not only removed from this position, you are facing deportation, sir. All right. So I just want to be clear. If you are not a natural born citizen, if you were not born in this country, this is the immigration policy with regard to domestic terrorism. You're out of here. You're not going to be treated different because you engaged in group stalking while being a mayor. You're not a legitimate mayor. And the fact that group stalking is happening within the gates of West Covina, California, is the proof of it. All right. It is. I want to be clear. The demon that is calling themselves a leader over the West Covina Police Department is simultaneously being exposed while demons. This is you see the impossible light activity. Let me be clear. Richard Bell knows all about it. OK, this is a demon, and this is a demon that's over a corrupt police department that's group stalking with the demons who are the West Covina police. You heard them engaging in criminal summoning. They engage in real-time reactions, in other words, while they sit around engaging in what is federal stalking, monitoring the evidence that I'm publishing onto the internet. The demons who are expending millions of dollars in West Covina, California, money that could be more appropriately and effectively spent in this city. Which is, again, collectively, you're talking about how much better this economy will do when many of these demons are deported out of this country and removed from the positions that they have stolen from those who will not engage in public corruption while at their post. And Richard Bell is another demon. You need to understand that. While the department is practicing a very specific and unique criminal system. And they're doing it with who? The people of the state that you see on video, group stalking in plain view, incriminating their own demons who are in the position of government, holding hands with them, engaging in group stalking. You need to recognize what is the the pattern of conduct that the entity is engaging in, and they're doing so while they are aware of the fact that they're being documented, but that is to the demise of the entity. There is no such natural environment that will include the sun being over Lark Ellen Avenue at 1:35 in the afternoon. It's currently 1:50 p.m. And this is the fake sun. This is where I am showing you the fake sun at 7:50. So again, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. So in order to appreciate, again, the demonic environment where the people that stayed in West Covina, California are gang stalking, it's not different. It's the exact same pattern of conduct that I documented in Ontario, California, in Los Angeles, California. The sun was rising and the sun was setting at Alvarado Gardens. And yet, while I am yesterday in Pomona, California, all right, this is 10:30 in the morning, the fake sun has not left from Lark Ellen Avenue, okay? And while they're engaging in criminal summons...
can I pay with my phone, or I don't need to pay?
It's no charge for a cup of ice.
Okay, thank you.
All right, this is...
And the entity sounding sirens.
This is impossible light activity while the Pomona Police Department practices the same pattern of conduct. Engineered light is filling the inside of that Starbucks, just like you see stationary engineered light and dynamic when the demons drive by. The demons inside of the Starbucks in Pomona at 3423 are gang stalking, and they're also sex offenders, just like the population are gang stalkers monitoring my genitalia in bathrooms. That's the significance of maintaining a specific environment everywhere that you're going, and it is the evidence that the entire state is group stalking. These demons that are driving by in traffic, they're then just going to the nearest cafe where I go, and they're gang stalking me there. And the evidence is the specific environment, because the light source is there at 10 in the morning, as I'm showing you here, while they're monitoring my genitalia in the bathroom under what is a fake sun. It has never left Lark Ellen Avenue. There is no natural ability for this to be the case, for this to be the environment. And I'm showing you what has not moved under any circumstances. And this, by the way, has no explanation for the impossible light activity that's inside of the depths of the building, behind their heads on the walls where they're preparing the drinks, and inside of my vehicle while engineer light. It's the same exact pattern of conduct, creating their shadows for purposes of what is activity creation in the specific environment. Demons that are driving by, creating engineered light, they're gang stalking, okay? And when I go around and I get hundreds of license plates, you need to understand, not only are those demons going to be prosecuted, there's no exception in the city of West Covina. There's no exception in the state of California. And again, demons like Mark Calderon, Tabatabai, this is a demon that's going to be removed from the position that they hold. As I show you the evidence of the supernatural, it is the prosecution of the state of California that's practicing the demonic system of group stalking. It is appropriately referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring. And just to be clear, you can witness the prosecution as it is being exposed on the internet, the YouTube channel, the P.O.C., where I am daily uploading videos that the state of California is keeping under surveillance, exercising control over the account. They boldly, as you see in the video, foolishly, it's not boldness, it's foolish, because it's going to be played in federal court, and people are going to federal prison. People are going to be removed from the position that they hold, like Richard Bell and Calderon Tabatabai. They're going to be removed, and this is the evidence that's going to remove them. And it's also going to create what are policies, necessary policies, recognizing public corruption.
Later, it starts audibly flying. It was already
recognizing public corruption based on what the constituents of the state are engaging in. And where it's terrorism, the terrorist leaders are going to remove. It includes Richard Bell. It includes, by the way, Robert Luna, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. It includes what is Mark Calderon, a demon, calling themselves a mayor. And this is what is published. The substance of this pattern of conduct is published on the YouTube channel. This is not only to expose, but this is to prosecute. This is to prosecute the entire state of California, and the entity engages in this pattern of conduct wherever it is that I go. And so they are then engaging in what is federal stalking. And recognize what federal stalking is. I've included it so that you can witness and educate yourself regarding what is the violation, which is surveillance on the internet. And this is a statute that's existing. I do advocate additional language with regard to the revelation that the states are not only group stalking, which is the intent to keep one under surveillance with the intent to kill, injure, harass, intimidate, place under surveillance. Gang stalking satisfies that qualification under Section 2. And not only that, it's a real-time impact on the operation of your internet and your communication devices. While they are group stalking you, you are also kept under surveillance online. And this is what the city of West Covina, this is what Mark Calderon Tabatabai, this is what Richard Bell and the West Covina Police Department, this is what the entire state of California is practicing. And they are wasting billions of dollars in California. A lot of the deficit is caused by public corruption. There are built-in resolutions to what's going on in California by virtue of the prosecution of California and by virtue of what is implementing policies in order to bar such public corruption at this size. It requires many of the demons who are sitting in the positions that they hold, not only removing them, but creating policies where this system is underway, it is axiomatic you will be removed. You're plucked out. It's telling on you. It's incriminating you. Group stalking is happening on the watch of a mayor. That mayor is out. Group stalking is happening amongst a corrupt police department, that chief of police and those that are employed by that terrorist organization, not a law enforcement agent. It's blowing the whistle and you are out, you're fired, and you're done with law enforcement. This is how terrorism is executed in the United States, by the way. The executive branch is given a lot of discretion, and where it is abused, people lose their lives. They're murdered, and it's called something else while that government, the executive branch, controls the narrative. All right, this is the supernatural that coexists with the criminal conduct of the state of California. It is federal group stalking monitoring. It's 1:55 p.m. The people of the state are maintaining surveillance. Driving by, an engineer light moves across the brick wall. Driving by me, an engineer light appears inside of my vehicle, which is the supernatural occurrence. It is where group stalking is underway. The ability to engage in and refrain from it. You see the flashing of light on here. These are demons. And the demons are providing a wealth of evidence against the entire state of California. All right. That is by the way, in case you did not know, Satan lacks the fruit of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, which is self-control. And that's going to work against the demons who are the people of the state of California in federal court. It is currently 1:56 p.m. This is the maintenance of the fake sun at the same location where I'm capturing at 7:50 in the morning. That is the supernatural where the criminal act of federal group stalking and monitoring occurs, including necessarily the constituents of that state. This is P.O.C.